I still look at it now and just go, I can't get rid of it. I cannot get rid of that car. It's going to have to die for me to for me to part ways with it. So.
The good thing about these cars is they're not worth as much as, for example, Kensey's F430. Is 430 is good.
It's true.
So
that's
he's
one of the
thinking,
reasons why.
If I sold that, I could probably buy a house. Or
that's it.
Whereas if we sold ours, you're like, well, I could, what can I get? Probably a subscription at Pret.
Welcome back to The Gassing Station, the podcast that goes digging through the PistonHeads forums like I will be digging through Christmas treats in just a few days' time. I'm your host, Cam Tate, and the mild chortling you hear in the background is my co-host, Sam Sheehan. Sam, I think this might potentially be our final podcast of the year.
Yes, and I am shocked at how quickly it's gone.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, at least podcast-wise, you've only been on for a few.
Yes.
So they've flown by for a reason.
Yeah,
but
I've
the
had a
year's
great
gone
time.
by quickly.
It has, yeah.
Yeah.
So many cars have come out in the last few weeks. I mean, literally last 2 months, it's been back to back to back. Too much.
It's been pretty relentless. The thing that's made me realise how fast this year has gone is that earlier this year, I started talking to people about what my next car was going to be. In fact, I think it was even 2024. I was thinking about getting this new car. And I landed on the idea of a BMW 335i. And I've been talking about it all year. And I've probably been looking religiously for the last 4 months.
Yeah.
Well, Sam Sheehan and PistonHeads Nation, I can confirm I've bought a new car.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not a 335i.
Yeah, even though that's what you were looking for.
I had got to the point of where I was struggling to find a 335i so much that I had resigned myself to getting a 320i. Because I was like, well, if I get a 320, I can get a newer one. Yeah. And it's got Apple CarPlay and laser lights. And it'll be more efficient. And it's going to be a family car at the end of the day. And I was genuinely... So I was going to call up the seller of a 320i. And then I just thought, I'm going to do one last dig. And I widened the net to 435i Grand Coupes.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, there was I can't remember the name of the colour, a dark grey 435i Grand Coupe, black leather seats, available just near where this 320i was. Called them up and they were like, yeah, it's got a full service history. 2 previous owners, 2014 car. And so I ran over there, placed my deposit, and I collected it on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
And oh my God, I love it so much.
It's a pre-bong Beamer.
It's a pre-bong.
Amazing.
Absolutely. This is... So one of the things that I discovered on the 2-hour drive back from where I bought this was it's a 2014 car, 74,000 miles. It feels pretty damn solid. It feels like a new-ish car.
A brand new modern BMW feeling chassis.
That's it. Yeah. Noise, the noise isolation, wind noise, performance, the comfort, all of it feels like a modern car, but it's not bonging at me.
Yes.
And it has physical buttons and dials. The only thing I'm missing on it is Apple CarPlay. Yeah. I would love it if it had Apple CarPlay.
Can you get it retrofitted? Because a lot of these cars you can, Yeah,
you can get it retrofitted. So I think you actually buy the unit as one of the actual screen and you literally can just slot it in. So it's not an OEM retrofit. It's not like they've taken it from a 440i, for instance, and put it in. But it's as near as damn it as you can. So I need to do that on it. I think the tracking potentially needs a little bit of attention.
Bit to the side.
Well, so part of the deal, I said, look, I'm happy to pay what you're listing it as, but the wheels need a refurbing. So they said, okay, yeah, sure, we can refurb them for you. There was a place next door that did it. So literally they took the wheels off, refurbed it, whacked it back on, given me the keys.
Lovely.
So I think that the wheels definitely need rebalancing, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. The tracking potentially is off a little bit. And the only other things are the dampers are 74,000 miles. They're definitely past their best. Yeah. But the thing is, I've not said this yet. One of the things I had to get, or I wanted to avoid, was an M Sport. Yeah. Because this is actually going to be... So my wife, it's going to be a car for her essentially. So she knows how to drive. She just doesn't have a driving license in the UK. Right. So she needs to get her driving license in the UK. But she wanted something that was. She drives a Lexus GS in her home country.
Yeah.
Which is in a city that is exceptionally busy. Didn't want a hatchback and didn't want an SUV. It had to be a saloon or an estate.
That's cool.
That is really cool.
I don't know if she knew this, but she was choosing cool categories.
Do you know what? One of the things that I was like, yeah, I definitely married well, was she said, I want something interesting. I want us to get something interesting. I don't want it to be boring.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, you've come to the right guy. She was like, oh, it'd be nice if we could get an Audi. And I was like, I just prefer the way that a BMW of that generation drives. So I was like, I don't want the M Sport because I would rather, if I want something M-ish, I'd rather get an M car. So in that generation, they did luxury lines. So they look a lot more pared back than the M Sports. It's the standard bumpers just with a bit more bright work, a bit more chrome on it. You get fully loaded interiors. They're really lovely. And I think the color options are a bit different as well. So the colors are just a little bit plusher. So it's so smooth. Straight six, we've talked about it. So John and I had talked about it before. Straight six is inherently balanced. It's a properly smooth engine. It's just the dampers, because they're not the M Sport adaptive ones, they're actually just regular passive dampers. So it means that they won't be nearly as expensive to replace as the adaptive ones. So I need to go and get a new set of those, and I think the core packs need doing. Otherwise, it's brilliant.
I think get your tracking done. Well, it depends if you're changing the tyres. Are you going to change the tyres?
I'm going to change the tyres.
So do the tyres, in my experience, tyres first, and then immediately get the tracking done.
Yes.
Because the tracking could absolutely change a car.
Yes.
Like I've had some cars where I'm like, this feels all right, but it doesn't feel as interesting as I thought it would be to drive. Get the tracking done. I'm like, different car.
100%.
One of the best things you can do to a car you've just purchased if it's used.
But the M55 engine's known for being a bit leaky. That's all been sorted. Brake discs and pads were done last month. Service and MOT was done last month.
Yeah.
I'm chuffed. I'm over the moon.
It's a great buy.
Yeah. So I'm ending the year really very happy. And I think you are too, because you've just been driving a Ferrari.
Yes, although I've been moaning a bit about it because I got to drive it in the morning in Portugal when it was a bit wet, and I've just seen other people's reviews go live, and they went in the afternoon, and it was very sunny, so I got a slippery morning. But
we've been trying to plan for this podcast, and anytime I've tried to get Sam on topic to plan for this podcast, he's been looking at other people's reviews and complaining that they had it in the dry and he had it in the wet.
Damn it, it was so wet when I drove it. But I won't complain because it was a Ferrari Amalfi, and a Ferrari launch. As let's just say they definitely help you have a great time when it comes to food and the break time, and in the evening a bit of wine. The driving time might not be quite as much as other brands, but it was just about enough.
My experience with Ferrari though, they put on a great route.
Yeah,
and when you go out and drive it, it's usually pretty good.
You don't have to share a car, which for listeners and viewers, like most of the launches you do as a car journalist, if you're on the normal rota of car invites, it will be a shared drive with another journalist or a content creator. You sometimes get a free pass for your own car, don't you, when you're doing video? But often that puts you at you have a shorter window of time, for example, with the car. But Ferrari, that's not the case at all. You get car each, so you can go out and really drive it how you want.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what did you think about it?
Well, first things to say is that the Roma, which I drove 4 years ago now, which blows my mind in itself. Just over that, actually. That was a fab car, and it really, 620 horsepower, front mid V8 turbocharged, twin scroll turbochargers. Felt like a mid-engined car in that Marvelous. It had really lovely balance, but it wasn't spiky or, didn't sort of throw you off the road. Beautifully fluid car to sort of drive around. You can sort of pitch it into a bend, get it to start to rotate, and then chase it with the throttle and just dance it out. I wanted to do that on the Amalfi launch, but it was quite slippery, and they've given the car more power. The turbo spin 6,000 revs faster. So we've got 640 horsepower now, which is Enzo levels of power, if I'm not mistaken. It's a lot.
Wild.
Rear-wheel drive, of course. And it was cold and wet. So I wasn't quite able to get it to dance around like I did the Roma, partly because the road was slippy, and just also the road itself was quite terrifying at points. There were some bits where there was no wall or fence and just mountain drop.
Yes.
So I wasn't probably taking as many risks as I had on the Roma launch. But the few sections of corners and roads where I did feel a dry surface, I was like, I can feel the magic. I can feel it. It's still here. Of the class, you compare it to the AMG GT, Vantage, etc., even 911 Turbo S. This definitely feels the most traditional supercar sense. Of course, the 911 will accelerate quicker, so you could argue that's more supercar in a power sense. But in terms of the way it makes you feel from behind the wheel, the fact that you have to respect it, that it feels more authentically supercar than the other ones.
Something that goes beyond numbers, that really, isn't it? Of where I guess that's where we kind of make our living as journalists, of being able to go like, look, the numbers don't reflect it, but I noticed it with the Maserati Ghibli Trofeo, of where we've talked about this before, where I did back-to-backed it with an M5, and I'm like, the M5 is faster in every single way, and is more efficient, but the Maserati feels like a supercar, a four-door supercar, whereas the M5 just feels like a fast 5 Series. And it's the with these, I did Roma Spider, and it's the same thing where you get in it and you just go, they just make them different in Maranello, those engines. It's just crazy.
The Italians, I mean, look, Alfa does it as well, and as you have Maserati, Ferrari, there's definitely something in the water, and I think it's partly down to the roads magic. As well. They make their cars ride on bumpy surfaces, so that's why they often perform so nicely in the UK. But yeah, that Amalfi's great. I mean, the key point, which actually I missed out, the real reason, if somebody's in the market now going, well, I can afford an Amalfi, but maybe I'll get the Roma because it's got potentially a prettier exterior. Well, the real reason to go for the Amalfi is not the extra power. It's actually the fact that they've returned buttons to the interior. The Roma debuted and only ever had touch-sensitive buttons. And even the start button was a touch-sensitive one. It reminded me of the one on my microwave, the start button, because it was just a little touch-sensitive. There was no feedback through the button itself.
Which was criminal.
Yeah, criminal. I mean, it started up this, not the most characterful Ferrari V8, but definitely a Ferrari V8.
It's still a great engine.
And so having a red starter button, the sort you've had on Ferraris, including, the F430, the 458, etc., having that on the steering wheel just makes everything better, and then also makes the functionality of more boring controls like, your audio and your cruise control just easier to use on the go. All the tech's better and simpler. So that's probably the real reason to go for an Amalfi over a Roma.
Yeah, although you can retrofit the button steering wheels.
For many thousands.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And it's many thousands worth spending, because it's. Yeah. I've not driven the Amalfi, but I was at the reveal of it, and it was just felt infinitely better. What's your thoughts though on the looks?
In isolation, I love it. I think it looks great in isolation.
That's a good way of putting it.
I know a lot of people on the internet are rightfully saying it looks a little bit like a Toyota Prius or something like that, and I get it.
Never.
I do get it. But I think on in that new shaded green they've got parked up on a drizzly Portuguese morning, it looked really pretty, and I thought it looked great. And the stance is the same because it's still a Roma body shell, isn't it? But when you remind yourself what the Roma looks like at the front in particular, I think the Roma's prettier.
It's one of those cars where I think, because I saw it with that, you've got it in the mindset of this is what the Roma looks like, and then when you see it for the first time, you go, well, have they made this better in any way? But then you look at the press pictures that have come out and you go, it's still a really good looking car. It's hard to have good looking cars these days. Yeah, really blooming hard.
Yeah.
And I know Flavio Manzoni, the head designer at Ferrari, gets a lot of stick for his designs.
Yeah.
I think most of the time when you see them in the metal, they are sublime.
Yeah.
So I actually had someone recently say, oh, I saw a Testarossa out in the wild recently, and I thought it looked terrible in the pictures, and it looked really cool in person. And I'm like, I know.
It's so true. And also, you got to remember, they've had to add a load more ADAS stuff onto the nose, so they had to hide that stuff away. So a lot of the
That's a really
design,
good point.
Yeah, a lot of the design changes on the front are just a desperate attempt to hide away all the extra bits of tech on the nose. And also the front grille of the Roma, as pretty as it was, with that traditional body shape, like the bodywork with holes in it, which was like a classic style, it was actually apparently quite bad for drag. So this new open grille, which is a much nicer solution, the take on the pre-update Vantage sort of grille. This is a subtler but similar idea, just having an open space between two bits of bodywork with just a grille. This apparently is better at cooling and also lower drag.
That's incredible. I was going to say, Ferrari didn't tell me that. They might have done, I just wasn't paying attention. So, but no, that's fascinating. And, I think just knowing that alone, because I feel like, maybe this is a bad habit to get into, but when a manufacturer says, we literally had no choice, we have to put these blooming sensors in them, you just kind of go like, I understand. It's a very tough time. Do what you've got to do. And it's like, if that's the design they've come up with to work around it, bravo, fantastic. So an improvement, you'd say, over Roma?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely on a dry road, it's going to be much quicker. I think the extra power is one thing, but they've unlocked a bit more performance from the electronics, the 6.1 slide step control stuff, so you can push harder without being completely on your own. They did stiffen up the rear axle a bit, which I think is probably what I was feeling, which made the car feel a bit spikier on slippery surface. Like when I had TC off, ESC off for all of about 30 seconds, you could barely get up to like 40% throttle, even in fifth gear on this greasy surface. So potentially stiffening up the rear has taken away that all year round, I don't know, sort of progressiveness. But at the same time, it's definitely faster and it's definitely no less comfortable in terms of the ride, and it's easier to use. So yeah, generally I would say it's better. But the Roma, I really liked it. So yeah, which would I go for? I don't know. I think the buttons would sway me for the Amalfi.
Well, you can probably get a pretty good deal on a used one on PistonHeads, and then use the extra money to go and get yourself a retrofit steering wheel.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Good idea.
You are Captain Good News at the moment with petrol conversions of cars. Before we move on, has Ferrari said that they're making a petrol version of the Elettrica?
I did put sort of that question to a couple of execs at the Ferrari event while sat down at dinner with glasses of wine around us. So I was hoping, they might be slightly loosened up.
You genius.
But I didn't get anything on the actual Elettrica, but I did get they were a bit like, why are you even asking this question? That's ridiculous. Of course, we're always going to continue making petrol engines. So whereas other brands are, even some of the most extreme other sports car makers are like, well, we'll see where the market goes and we'll follow the market. Ferrari are like, no, there will always be a petrol engine. So it doesn't seem to matter what happens in the UK or the EU. There will always somehow be a petrol engine in the ranks.
Hear, hear. Thank you, Ferrari. That's the kind of thing that we want to hear. I kind of want to loop into that there's been a change in the EU legislation recently. We won't go through it here, mostly because the actual kind of end outcome is pretty straightforward. The outright ban on petrol and combustion powered cars that was meant to come in 2035 has now been changed. I think it's not been scrapped altogether. It's that instead of 100% of the fleet being EV, it's 90% now, right?
Yeah, it's the ban has gone, but it's still a tough market.
Yeah, exactly. So it means that we still got petrol cars. Hooray!
Yeah.
It's just, it might be still relatively difficult to get hold of, but I think the ultimate kind of version of that is it's going to make running petrol cars a heck of a lot easier.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like we're all going to be forced out of our petrol cars in 2035. So overall, good news.
Yeah, that is definitely. And I think it just also from the point of view of like factories being able to keep producing some petrol cars, it just seems to, not having such a hard stop, I think will allow some brands to make that transition slightly easier. And also it opens up a bit more time for sustainable fuel to be developed and become affordable, and then suddenly we can all go back to petrol cars that are sustainably run.
Well, Formula One's going to it next year, aren't they?
That's my dream. Hopefully.
I can't wait. Go and make it work, Formula One. Do us all a favour.
Yeah.
MGUH. No one cares. Make the sustainable fuel work. That's what we really need.
On that subject, I am actually in conversation with Sustain, who make sustainable fuels, because I want to find out a bit more about that. So I might have some more good news to bring in upcoming episodes on that matter.
Oh, that's what we want. Topic Sam. It may be Christmas.
Yes, it is.
But people are still looking to buy a car. Heck, I've just bought one.
Yeah.
So we need to help some people out. And this week I found a post by Rainmaster B or Rainmaster B.
Yes.
However that's said. And they say, afternoon all, looking for some guidance from the gassing station Massive. That's the forum.
Do we have to?
It would be nice if we could be associated as the gassing station Massive.
Anyway.
I'm after a fast classic estate. Will be a weekend car for visiting my local C&M, Cafe in the Machine, and Bicester Heritage, now known as Bicester Motion, which is where we have annual service, happening on the 8th of August, 2026.
Beautifully done.
I know, so smooth. Budget is around 10k, doesn't have to be the most engaging to drive, as usually being accompanied by kids and dog, but does need to be reliable and ideally rare and attract the right kind of attention. Ideally, something that might accumulate a bit in value over the next 5 years or so.
Yeah.
Short list as follows: Volvo 850 T5R or V70R, Audi S4, B5 or B6, Mercedes C32 or C55 AMG,
nice,
or an Alfa Romeo 156 GTA. Been to see a few of each except the Alfa. 850 is very cool, but would be the oldest and probably therefore requiring the most attention. C55 seems like the most sensible option, but prices have increased rapidly recently, so I feel like I'm paying for a bit of the hype. B5 S4 is the cheapest, and I really like it, but I'm terrified of their reputation. Interested to hear people's thoughts. Well, the first thing that stood out to me when I looked at that was a 156 GTA sport wagon for 10k.
Yeah.
That's probably the one you should be scared about the most.
I'm impressed because when I saw that and then I had to reread the price and I was like, is that possible?
We've had, I think I've seen some that are high mileage. It doesn't necessarily mean they're in bad condition. They're just high mileage. And it's one of those things where I remember driving past an old house with a mate once, and he said it was like one of those 400-year-old country homes that was really lopsided, and he goes, "That looks like it's going to fall down any second." And I'm like, "Well, it's been up for 400 years.
Yeah,
you know,
it's probably not going to fall down any second." But
so you can get a cheap 156. It's just probably going to cost a bit of money to keep it going. So there's your criteria, Sam. What you thinking?
Well, do you know what? I actually found this one quite difficult because
blooming hard.
Yeah, because of the price, because of the bracket. 10k is a budget, but of course these are having performance cars, and of course, I think there's a bit of market demand for this segment at the moment. People seem to like the relatively modern classic cars that are interesting, and you can't estates are rare and rarer these days. So let me start with probably the one that won't necessarily increase in value, not initially anyway, but is probably the best in terms of ticking all the boxes in an objective sense. And I've gone with a Ford Focus ST3, an estate. And it's a 2016 car. So yeah, it's possibly still got some value to lose. Although I can't, I can't imagine it's going to fall off a cliff. It's done its worst depreciating, hasn't it? And so this is a 72,000 mile old car, so it's relatively healthy, and it's 3 previous owners, so from 9 years, that's okay. Pretty quick, good engine, 4-cylinder. The manual in them is pretty tough as far as I'm aware as well. And I think
goodness, Sam, that's really nice.
Yeah, and I think the colour spec, black wheels, it's a tidy example. So it also looks, I always think these look a bit like a police car. I don't know why. I think it's because I saw them bombing up and down the motorway.
They do seem
just needs
quite
traffic cones in the boots.
Police car-ish.
Yeah.
I think maybe the colour, because this one is performance blue, mate.
Yeah.
So it's it doesn't look quite as policey, but it's the black. It's the blacked out wheels and blacked out grille that definitely makes you think like, is that concealing some blue lights?
Exactly.
But as we've said multiple times before, looking like an undercover police car very much has its perks.
Keeps the people around you sensible. But then I went a little bit. Do you know what? Let's go with the most extreme one next. So the one that I actually was like, oh wow, I would actually love to own one of these, just because Q car sleeper if you're in the States, or you use TikTok. This is one of those cars, and it is a Mercedes E-Class, and it's a 5.5 litre V8 E500 in avant-garde spec. So it's proper like, I'm a successful older money or more mature person. Definitely not on the extreme side, but you've got all that muscle. You've got wood veneer. It's a Mercedes with buttons. There's an infotainment system, but, it's lovely. Oh, and the key thing, it's an 07 car.
Yes.
With just one previous owner.
I tell you what, oh my God, that's incredible.
So they've loved it.
Yeah. So a cherished example.
Yeah.
This screams stately home.
Yes, it does.
Runabout. This car is, this one looks like it's been very well cared for.
Yeah, it does.
But it's the sort of car you expect to see on a stately home.
Yeah.
That is used by the owner and is driven everywhere all the time. It is marvellous. £8,990.
Yeah.
87,500 miles. This has actually huge PH appeal because it was a Sunday service at Thruxton last year, I think, where one of our PHs turned up in a CLK 500.
Oh, yeah.
And I got abnormally excited by it.
Yeah.
There were audible, oh my God, that's a CLK 500.
Trouser tent.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. I had to take myself off. This is very much kind of up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a proper sleeper.
Do you know the other thing as well? And I didn't even know this was a thing, I'd forgotten, but I was looking at the front grille thinking, have they tried to make the front grille, for the listeners, it's got that, you know,
blanking plate.
Yeah, the blanking plate that you have on the latest Mercs, which obviously looks quite pants normally. But I thought, have they tried to make it look like a newer one? And I read the description and I forgot this. They came with radar-guided cruise control.
Yeah.
There was effectively an adaptive cruise control.
I think the Mercedes S-Class of that era was the first to introduce radar cruise.
So this if you were using this daily and you were on the motorway, it is as good as a modern car. I presume it's probably not quite as smooth as the latest ones, but I'm sure it's plenty good enough.
Doesn't have Apple CarPlay.
No.
But there might be a way to plug in an iPod.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true. Was that one of the requirements, Apple CarPlay?
No, but you were just saying if it has everything, which it pretty much does.
Because I like that it's got an infotainment system that's very basic, and they've left it on Magic FM. It just makes me feel so relaxed. You could just listen to that V8 burble away as you use the air suspension and set your radar cruise control.
What an incredible
And turn
find.
up the George Michael. Right. The next one, I think this potentially has the best potential for going up in value in immediate
Interesting.
years.
Show your working, Sam.
Because it is another immaculate 2003 Volkswagen Passat V6 4Motion, the 2.8 V6. And it's only $5,000.
This is something where I recommend if you're on YouTube, I know you're probably doing something else at the minute, come and have a look at the screen, just look at the car. And if you're on Spotify, maybe pull over and take a look, because saying a Volkswagen Passat Estate is pretty dreary. This one, however, it's nice.
It's mint.
It's very Festival of the Unexceptional.
3 previous owners, 55,000 miles. I mean, this is a low mileage. It has a tow bar, so it hasn't just lived a life of sitting on the driveway. But I don't know whether they've, just done a really good job of cleaning it up. But it looks absolutely mint. And one thing I really like as well is that the number plates look absolutely mint as well. And I always think people who have, you know what I think about 3D plates?
Yes.
Well, I also think people with immaculate number plates on older cars, and immaculate wheels typically, and matching tyres, of which I'm not sure this has, but it looks like it does. That generally, I think, these people care about their car. And I think this is an example of someone who have really looked after this.
My brother pointed this out to me yesterday, how on a recent podcast I mentioned that my dad, who had a C43, didn't change his gel plates, even though he, quote, hated them and would do it immediately. He's just bought a new iX3 BMW, and the plates on them were not a BMW dealer. They were someone else's. They were, an independent dealer. And he's like, I don't want those. I'm going to change them. And he changed them immediately. Wasn't willing to change a gel plate, but was willing to change a dealer plate.
That's a closet gel lover.
That is I've still got this opinion. They're like a parasite. As soon as you've got a gel plate, for some reason, they take over your way of thinking. Yeah. So immaculate car here, Sam.
So $4,950. I mean, that's not going to lose any value, is it? If you keep this mint and not, don't add too much mileage to it, there will be a market of solar panels. Solar panels on the sunroof. Solar panels
in the sunroof.
Oh my God. We had good tech in the noughties.
Exactly.
Radar cruise on a Merc and a solar paneled sunroof.
That is
on a Passat.
Comfy looking interior. Got this instead of the 4 Series. I would have saved a ton of money.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have a straight 6 under the bonnet.
I'd have a V6
Still a V6,
but
you've got to beam a straight 6.
Anyway, my picks. I have got a smorgasbord of fast estates here.
Yours are much more exciting.
They are a little bit. I think when we were looking at this, it were really slim pickings. And I got quite fortunate of where Sam was away yesterday being a car journalist. I was at home and sat in front of my laptop, so I had the time to go and do this. So my first pick is a Mini Clubman John Cooper Works. So we're talking about 210 horsepower. This one is black with a red roof, black interior with red piping, very interesting. 45,000 miles, 7,495.
Yeah.
That's a really good looking car, and it's a manual.
I love the look of these. I think the rear looks great. I love the barn doors.
So much car.
Yeah.
It looks absolutely. It is a
red stripe.
It's a 3-door though.
Oh,
which admittedly is a little bit strange for a Clubman.
Yeah.
But does actually look really cool because of it.
Does that add to the potential? Because they said they wanted a car that increases in value. Does having is it rarer? I presume it's rarer in 3-door.
It must be of some. Wait, hang on. It's
Oh,
it's not a 3-door.
Four weird door.
It's a 4-door.
Yeah, it's got that rear door that's tiny.
Or is it technically a 5-door because
Right.
the rear splits? Does it not? Oh God, I'm so confused.
Let's do
How
interneting.
many doors does this club?
How many doors?
It's going to say like 5
Six
doors, but 6 doors. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What? Where's
2
the 6?
conventional doors, full-size rear side door. What?
That's the new one.
Yeah, let me type in 2000.
I think.
Was it 16?
2014.
14. Yeah, it has a unique 4-door configuration, which
That's
includes
it.
one rear hinge side door, the club door.
I feel a bit
the
stupid
club door,
for
I
not.
like that.
Yeah, I know. I was looking at that and I was thinking, I'm sure these had a gimmick.
Yeah.
Like almost like a Mazda RX-8
Yeah, I
or
was just
Hyundai
thinking that.
Veloster.
But these drink a lot less oil than
These
the
do drink a lot
RX-8,
less
yeah.
oil, yes, indeed. And I would say that you can get an RX-8 for a lot less, but 749.5 is, that's a great little shout. So that's my first car. Second car, oh boy, going real different for this one. A Subaru Legacy GT WR Limited.
Wow.
This is not a UK car. This comes from the squad at Torque GT, the Japanese import specialists, and they have sourced a Legacy GT WR Limited. I would love to say I know exactly what the differences are mechanically, but I don't. I do know that these come in the WR Blue mica. I think the original the proper name of it is. So it looks a bit like an Impreza rally car, but it's bigger with a massive boot and
cool wheels.
Yeah, I mean, and it's got the it's a 2-litre boxer engine, obviously, 260 horsepower.
Yeah.
It's had some tasteful JDM. Sam's just pointed to the massive fart can sticking out the back. That is, Oh, I love the seats though, because they've got the Subaru World Rally Team embroidered on them. But it's because it's a Legacy. It's not done in garish yellow.
Yeah.
It's done in it's black leather with black embroidery. It's very tasteful.
It's so uniquely Japanese in the way that it's got like race car features on it, but then it is also an estate like that. I know there are other examples of that, but the Japanese in particular do have a tendency to put like a fart can and track day spec wheels and a strut brace on a not massively otherwise modified estate car.
This is very me. This is very, very me. I don't know if it is for Rainmaster B, but I adore this. The only downside to this.
Well, if he likes the rain, he'll love this.
Yeah, Yeah, absolutely. So, perfect if you're a Rainmaster.
Yeah.
But lastly, now they mentioned that they were thinking about a B5 or a B6 Audi S4. Well, I've only gone and found a B7 Audi S4 Estate, Avant, and I'm struggling to find fault with it.
I'm like, lovely.
This is so unbelievably delicious. So it's obviously got the 4.2 litre V8, 350 odd horsepower.
Yeah.
Oof.
Manual.
This one's got 80,310 miles. So it's
all right.
I mean, for a car that's 2007, knocking on the door of 20 years old, not bad. 10,495.
Yeah, I mean, that is a lot of car, literally, and a lot of engine.
I'm like, what am I missing?
I mean, for that value, you're buying, you take the engine.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
It's got red leather interior, which
Recaros.
actually looks really cool. It's got the Recaros.
Yeah.
Black on the outside.
Yeah.
Looks to be in fantastic condition. Just lovely. Bose sound system.
An old vintage navigation, sat-nav, touchscreen thing.
Carbon trim on the dash. Yeah. This is... Because I was going through those pics, I was like, oh, well, mate, I'm really coming around to the club now. Oh, I'm really coming around to the Legacy. This is it.
This is lovely.
This is the car. And I do think, we can't talk about this car's going to go up in value because we don't know. No one knows. But you see the effect of the RS4 of this generation and how popular those are getting now. This obviously isn't the same as that, but, It's a much more attainable way into it.
It is, and I think we're entering that era. They always say that the era of cars increase, with every passing year as people who come in to have a bit more cash on the side become, of buying age they're like, oh, I fancy a car from my youth.
Yes.
Or something like that. Now mid to late noughties, I think potentially is the next wave of cars, where you've got people in their 40s, maybe their 50s saying, I'm going to start to just have a car on the side for a bit of fun.
I really want this.
This fits that.
I really, really want this. This would have been a perfect car for me had it not been a manual, because I needed an automatic for my wife to drive it. But, oh my goodness, just remarkable. Maybe a replacement for the ST at some point, because that is so cool.
You won't say that once you RS'd it.
Well, we'll get onto that actually in a little bit. So that's what I'm going to put forward. That's my car of choice, and if I could have it, I'd buy it. I genuinely think that's so cool.
Lovely. Yeah.
What are you putting forward?
Well, I've got to say, I could say the Passat for a bit of a laugh. No, I think I would definitely go with the E500. I mean, to have that lovely Mercedes, I can in the same way that Audi, you can think I could use that every single day. I think the Mercedes, I could definitely cruise around. I would definitely embrace Classic FM.
Oh yeah,
with the Mercedes,
because I think the thing is that V8, while a V8 is going to be so quiet, and woofly,
so smooth,
so you can hear all the brass sections of your favourite concerto.
Ooh. Yes.
So there you have it. Those are two options to choose from. If you're listening to this on Spotify or watching on Spotify, I will try my best to put a poll up. It's not really been working for me in the last few episodes, but we're going to try and do it on this one, where you can choose between my car or Sam's car. Let us know which one you think is better, or if you think that we are completely rubbish at this, then I'll put up an article of this on the PistonHeads homepage. You can go in there, jump into the thread, and say, you should consider something like this instead. Cam and Sam are rubbish. And of course, you can go on PistonHeads auctions to see if anything fits the bill. Nothing quite matched the criteria for this one, but then again, we were even struggling on the classifieds to find something that would really hit the spot for this buying challenge. But there's loads of things that all sorts of new cars that are coming up on PH auctions. And hey, if you want something to sell and you think, what I've got would probably fit the bill, then get in touch. Go to pistonheads.com/sell. Click on auctions, plug your car details in, and a consignor will be in touch. So, Sam, let's hit our third topic of the pod. And this one, this one I definitely find is particularly relatable given the week that I've just had of buying a new car. And it is the car you can't bring yourself to sell. This was set up by TVR, as in TEAVR. Get it? Nice. And he says, do you ever find yourself looking on, and they mention a website that I've never heard of before. So I'm just going to insert I'm just going to say, let's say PistonHeads. But when it comes to the crunch, you just can't bring yourself to let your current car go. For me, it's my LC500. Ooh, strong car, TVR.
Yeah.
That is, I'm a big LC500 fan.
Yeah.
What about you? So, the community has chimed in with, Eldar says, my old 60 horsepower Skoda Citigo.
Quite the contrast.
Fully depreciated, costs naff all, but superb fun to drive. Making the most of modest power is an enjoyable challenge. Who would have thought a Skoda Citigo?
The little 3-cylinders, they're quite fun, aren't they?
Kept the Citigo, flogged the 420 brake horsepower Mustang, and that was a whole lot less rewarding to drive.
Interesting.
Amazing.
Maybe. Are we talking about in Tesco car park? Because then, I get that.
It depends.
Just kids in the Mustang. But yeah.
It depends. It depends on where you're driving it, really, isn't it? Because sometimes it's that kind of thing of where if you've got to rag the car just to get it to move, you're far more engaged than you are just sitting in and putting it in D.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it depends on the gen of the Mustang, but 420 horsepower, it's not going to be a very early one, is it?
Think of the cult-like following as VW Up has. Same thing, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
Rossab says, bought when I was 26, I'm now 49, and he shows a picture of a GC8 Subaru Impreza WRX.
Oh, that's cool.
I think it's a Turbo 2000, has an absolutely humongous wing.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff I aspire to be,
bought it in the early noughties.
I bought it at 26, and I've kept it forever,
Epic.
and I will take it to the grave.
Yeah.
Ken C says, my Ferrari 430 Scuderia, bought new in 2009, now with only 5,000 miles on the clock. What you doing, Ken C? Go drive your car. I think what he's trying to say here is I should sell it and think about doing so almost every year around this time when it's hibernating, but think I'd regret it.
Yes, I think you would regret it.
I think you would regret it. Keep hold of that. Oh, the exhaust note on that 430 is delicious.
Yeah.
M Sport Panda says, this might be a lifer for me, and shows a picture of a Z4M Roadster. I bought it in my mid-20s after a huge career step. I've owned it for 5 years now, and I just can't bring myself to sell it. There's been a couple of times when I've strongly contemplated it. Moving further into London when parking permits are charged based on CO2 and having to drive it at least an hour before seeing an NSL sign has made me wonder why I should keep it on more than one occasion. But whenever I see it or drive it, it's just so exciting and special compared to the daily. The sound, even as standard, is intoxicating, and chasing that 8,000 RPM red line is so rewarding. I sometimes look longingly at Boxster Spiders in the classifieds, but this delivers 80% of the thrills for 25% of the cost. I'd really love to keep it until I can't get in it. There's stories that kind of like warm the cockles of your heart. They're like, oh yeah, good for you. You got the picture up.
I've just looked because I had to make sure it was exactly the spec, and it is a lovely spec.
Unfortunately, I can't post the pictures in the videos because we don't own the rights to the pictures. But it's what's the color again of that blue? It's a blue Z4M coupe with those bigger wheels. It's got the CSL style wheels on it, and it's just
so
perfection.
Pretty. That era of I don't know. Did anyone previously not like it? I think I remember reading that some people didn't like the design.
I think they were known for being a bit twitchy.
Yeah, but they're very pretty.
And I mean, they look great.
If you're cruising around in London with the top down in that is a work of rolling German art.
Remember the maroon Z4 that I bought up recently in one of the pods? I mean, that was just delightful. Those are aging superbly.
Oh, yes.
Sam, you've had a few cars.
Couple,
Still got some. What's one that you have either regretted selling and thought, oh, I really wish I kept hold of that, or one that you currently have at the moment and you will never, ever get rid of? One car definitely comes to mind.
Yeah, I mean, one's very obvious. If for anyone who's read the PistonHeads fleet updates from a few years ago, I've still got my old Renault Sport Clio 182.
Yes, it does.
And I won't sell it ever. There are two reasons. Number one is a bit of nostalgia attached to it. You know, I still really love getting in, and it doesn't have an Apple CarPlay. I've got a phone mount for it, a quad lock, thing my phone tucks away low down on the dash. But I do like that when I get in that car. It is a little bit like I guess it's kind of like closing the laptop and putting a vinyl on. Yeah. If that's a comparable analogy. It's kind of like you're shutting yourself away from all the digital stuff. And I do have a DAB radio in it, but basically I'm just in the car to drive it. And I love it. I mean, that engine is very good. It's not exceptional, but it's very good. And the mods I've done to it, it's made it my own. Recaro pole position buckets and Bilstein coilovers, negative camber, limited slip differential, the best mod I did.
Really?
Really good. Yeah. So no more power from the engine.
Big old mod.
No more power from the engine, but fantastic traction, chuck it around. In fact, it's so much fun that it feels like a slightly more track day version of another car I've really missed, which I didn't own. It was a long-termer, also when I was at PH. And that was the Fiesta ST, the ST3 I had back in 2018, I think. That was was that 2018? God, it was that long ago. It was the 3-pot one, and it was absolutely fantastic.
When they came out, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that was just a fab car. My Clio, in a way, just feels like a slightly more track-focused version of that, and that's a compliment to both of them because it means they're just the best front-wheel drive sort of experiences you can have. I know Integras of old, etc., potentially are more iconic in the front-wheel drive world, but these are just such rounded, and they feel quick, by the way. Clio still feels quick. So that's another reason. So the second reason I won't sell it is because it still feels just as quick as the latest stuff in that price bracket, which is...
That is wild.
Yeah.
But I completely understand.
Partly down to the fact that it's just less refined, so it's a bit noisier and everything feels faster, but also because it is still quick. Yeah, they are still quick if you work them hard. So those are cars that I really, really love. And the Clio, they just don't make them like that anymore because they can't. They just can't. I
think if you ever considered selling that Clio, I would actually go round to your house and stop you because that car is, I mean, you've obviously we've worked at a few different places in the industry. I remember first reading your stuff because you and I were both automotive journalism alumni from Coventry Uni. And so I'd heard about your name there because I was a couple of years after you, and you were writing for a enthusiast car magazine at the time, And I was reading about your car in Fast Fleet, I think they called it. There, and it's like, and you still got it, and it's still going.
I've read about 2011.
Read about it in PistonHeads. Did you ever write it about it in your other automotive magazine job?
Yeah, I did. It was a bit of extra homework, that one though. Whereas my other employers, including this one, it was part of the job, and it was a request from the editor. At that place, it was me going, I've got an extra hour, or more likely, I'll stay on an extra hour just because I want to get more coverage of my car. I'll be honest, one of the reasons I did it was because it allowed me to go to brand and say, hey, I write about this in the magazine. Can I get some coilovers, please? And they're like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But it's a win-win, and it has now meant that my car, which now I do pay for all the bits on, I promise, is set up perfectly for me. So I can never sell it. But I do just want to squeeze in a quick reference to a car that I always regretted selling, which I only ran for a year. And it's something quite humble, but it's an R50 Mini 1. I think I've mentioned it on this pod before. But the reason I regret it is because I've always had to drive long-termers since that are much larger. And I was running around in that as my own personal runabout. And it was, parking in London was a doddle. Yeah. Just throw it in anywhere. It handles and rides lovely. They nailed it out of the box, that car. And yeah, all right, it's not the quickest, but it was quite an enjoyable car to drive and just nip around at lower speeds.
Yeah.
So I really, really like that, Jen. And I've banged on about the R53 before. I think that era of Mini is just brilliant.
I don't think I will ever be without a small chuckable hatch.
Yeah, and your Fiesta
which brings me on to my one of where even with this new 435i GC in our now fleet, I can't see myself getting rid of the Fiesta, mainly because it's still, cost me naffle to run. Insurance is cheap, tax is relatively cheap. Parts, it does need a little bit more attention now, and I'm going to send it off somewhere to get looked after because it's got a few bits that need doing. But it's a car that it's a similar thing to you of where is there a nostalgic and a kind of is there a part of me that kind of just likes having it around because it's been a part of my life for 8 years now, and I'm like, I'm not the sort of sentimental type to get really kind of latched onto a car, but that's probably the closest I've come to it of where I let a mate of mine, he came around and wanted to do a bit on it the other day, and so he took it out to drive, and I was like, this is the first time I've seen somebody else drive my car, and it's freaking weird.
Yeah.
It's like, this is what I imagine it would be like if someone came over and drove it away, and I don't want it to happen.
Yeah.
Because it's been, I've driven that thing to all sorts of, it's kind of the events, and there's kind of like marks in the window of where I've had like press passes for, World Endurance Championship races or Formula 1 races and stuff, and it's, I've been stuck in car parks. I've been to concourse events in it and nearly been turned away because it was such horrific. It's like, I'm not here to display it. I'm here for something else. But it's one of those cars where it's like, well, now that I'm actually not using it as a daily, I feel like I'm more likely to keep it on because it's not going to fall apart quite as quickly. I feel like I can do little bits to it and get it into the car that I want more gradually because it's not a case of, I'm saving up for another car to use as a runabout, but also, it just means I can take my time and kind of build it into the car that I want it to be. And I still look at it now and just go, I can't get rid of it. I cannot get rid of that car. It's going to have to die for me to for me to part ways with it. So
the good thing about these cars is they're not worth as much as, for example, Kensey's F430. Is 430 is good.
It's true.
So
that's
he's
one of the
thinking,
reasons why.
If I sold that, I could probably buy a house. Or
that's it.
Whereas if we sold ours, you're like, well, I could, what can I get? Probably a subscription at Pret.
It's a lot more. It's a lot more akin to the City Go.
Yeah.
Of where it's like I'm just having too much fun, and that's the other thing as well. I've had this 4 Series for a week now, and I've driven it quite a few times. And obviously, it's perfect. But then I get in the Fiesta, and it's just to go down to like the shops to get some food or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this kind of feels exactly what it's used for. I just need to nip somewhere. Yeah. I'll get in, run it down the road, and it's like, it's just so much fun. It makes a drive, even just the shortest distance, so much fun. And I can't, if it died tomorrow, I would then go out and buy something, probably like a Clio 182 or some form of small hot hatch.
Yeah.
That's kind of a little rorty, and it rumbles and it's got vibrations and it's noisy.
Oh yeah, mine's got those things.
It's just got to feel like it's connected to the road, and it's the same thing of where I've driven plenty of new hatches since, and they're all faster and they're all more refined and stuff, but then are they more fun?
Yeah, well, this is it.
I don't think so.
And this is the thing with driving a lot of the new electric hot hatches. Alpine A290, fantastic little car. But the thing it has, the problem these cars have is they actually have so much grip that they need to have so much more power to feel exciting. This is true for all cars. It's the same with the Ferrari I drove. Like, to be fair, that is extremely exciting. But the point is you have to go extremely fast to actually make it do some fun stuff, at least on a dry road. Whereas everything from that era, I think we've said it before, kind of the noughties, the 90s had some amazing, that Impreza and stuff like that. Amazing cars in the 90s. But you are stepping back in time quite considerably with usability and safety as well, I think. Noughties, potentially a sweet spot. I think it was just about safe enough. But yeah, the latest hot hatches, of which there are not many.
Yeah.
They are, either so complicated or electrified that they lose a bit of character, or they're just so fast and therefore probably expensive that they don't feel the same. That category is just gone.
Precisely. Moral of the story is go buy a 20-year-old hot hatch and go have fun.
Yeah.
And on that note, that concludes today's episode of the Gassing Station podcast and the last episode before Christmas. I don't know, there is a chance that we'll have another episode coming out before New Year's, or it may come out just after. It's a special episode that we recorded this morning, but I need to wait basically to see when that's going to be edited. So if we don't speak before New Year's, have a very happy Christmas or happy holidays in general, whether you celebrate it or not. Have a wonderful New Year. Sam, anything to add before we go?
No, but rest assured I will be, even during the break, researching, phoning, doing my best to bring more good news
about engine converted EVs. He'll be doing it on Christmas Day and New Year's Day. Leave me alone. And on that note, happy holidays, happy Christmas, happy New Year. See you next Tuesday.